intelligence agencies and the interplay between cinema is often an underrated aspect of what people realize in the larger, like, do you think propaganda plays a role in national security? That is my first question. Let's start there. Do you think propaganda should have a role in national security? In my, like, I'll give you a hard yes as my answer. I believe propaganda is a very integral part of national security, because without the idea of a nation state and boundaries, okay, as of now with the current technology, this is the hand that we've been dealt with. If tomorrow a better idea comes, we will adjust, and maybe we'll go to a global world. I don't think it's workable with the kind of tribal mind we have as homo sapiens. Till now we've only managed this country game. But in that, if we are to protect our boundaries, protect our people, protect democracy and the values that we hold dear, our civilization, how the hell does a national security apparatus not do propaganda?
The point of a national security apparatus is to do propaganda. So just very simply, Animal Farm, it was funded entirely by the CIA. This very famous movie with Ben Affleck in it, Argo, about
Yes.
the CIA hostage crisis.
Iran ka na?
Iran hostage crisis. This was done very, very specifically. It was funded by the CIA, huge logistical assistance by the CIA. And why was it specifically targeting Iran? Because that was when the negotiations for the nuclear deal were happening. So it had to create some kind of, popular sentiment about Iran, blah, 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 blah nonsense. Okay, Homeland, where that lady portrays that complete crazy schizo thing. What's her name?
I know what lady you're talking. I don't know her name, but I know what you're talking about. I know. वो पाकिस्तान में भी जाती है, अलग-अलग जगहों पे जाती है. वो वाला तू बोल रहा है. I know the Homeland series. I've seen it.
I forget what her name is in that. Claire Danes. Claire Danes. I just googled it. Claire Danes. Huge support from the CIA. Okay, and they're all done very specifically as part of a propaganda program. Sometimes it's the CIA, sometimes it's the FBI. They route money through various sources, NGOs, this and that, blah, blah nonsense. Sometimes George Soros also helps in. George Soros used to get CIA funding for the longest time. George Soros was created by the CIA in many ways, right? His whole point was to undermine communism. Ultimately, he turned on them. That's a different matter. But that's what his game was. That's what his game was. So you tell me the CIA, okay, so the CIA has funded. Spanish movies under Franco were also funded. Once the socialists took over, they started funding movies in Spain in the 1980s. The German state used to fund movies under Hitler's time, under West Germany and under East Germany. The Soviets, you can't tell the difference between intel and government and things like that, but every movie was essentially state approved and state funded.
Yeah.
Right? Because normal market dynamics anyway didn't operate out there. Take a very simple movie like this Chinese movie on Qin Shi Huangdi, the first emperor of China. Qin Shi Huang movie. Let's see. It's a classic movie. I think it was made with I forget now. The emperor? No, the I forget. Hero. It features Jet Li. This movie.
I remember this one.
You know what the entire? It was heavily funded by China, by the Chinese government. You know why? Because the whole thing was Qin Shi Huangdi killed millions of his own people, but he did it to save China. So the hero is a fellow who's out to kill the first emperor in 260 BC or whatever. He overcomes every obstacle and reaches the emperor. And then he has this serendipitous moment where he realizes that, my God, the emperor killed millions of us only to save China. And therefore, I won't kill you. and then the emperor's troops kill him, but he's given a hero's burial because he had to be killed because he attempted to kill the emperor, but he will be given a hero's burial because he realized the error of his ways. Have you ever heard of anything more goddamn propaganda than that? It's basically justifying the Tiananmen Square massacre and everything Mao Zedong did, killing off 7 times more Chinese people than the Japanese Imperial Army did. Mao Zedong killed 70 million Chinese. The Japanese only killed about 10, 11 million Chinese. And we're using only here because of the scale of the massacres.
Mm.
Okay. So, but Hero was, it won lots of awards and things like that. It's a very famous movie. Every now and then, the Mongolians will fund a movie on Genghis Khan. It's a pity nobody wants to see a Genghis Khan movie. That's a different matter. But yeah, uh, uh, there is not one country that doesn't do it. Uh, every country does it. Democratic, non-democratic, everything,
Mm.
everything. And Hero won the Oscars. It won the best foreign language film.
Do you think the Israelis, the Mossad folks, leaked some tidbits for Fauda?
A lot of it, yes, a lot of it. Because every time we've been to Israel and met the cast of Fauda, it's the Israelis have organized the meeting. Every time you go to Israel National Day here in Delhi, they get down some cast of Fauda. Yeah.
How ridiculous is it then? Tell me, forget folks like you and me who are deeply interested in reading a lot of things that intelligencies do, and we read newspaper sections of that, we read books on that, we talk to. I'll give you an example. Okay, India keeps changing its service rules. So as of now, a former R&AW person, if they retire, they are out. Let's say, GBS Sidhu, he came on my podcast. He wrote a brilliant book, probably one of the most authoritative books on the Khalistan conspiracy, right? Now, GBS Sidhu, go ask him, have service rules changed after his book came out under BJP?
Yeah.
So why? So why are we as a society, Abhijit, so secretive? Like, it's quite obvious that Raw, IB, and many other military intelligence have selectively leaked tidbits. But why are we not more formal, like the CIA, like Mossad, like even ISI? And those bloody Pakistanis are more formal than us. Then why are we not formal? Why this? Why are the folks inside Raw and in the periphery of our society, why are we so cagey about this shit?
So look, I don't know why we're cagey about it, because if you provide support for a movie, support doesn't have to be funding.
Yeah,
Support is
inputs.
just advice and inputs and things like that. Why should anybody be cagey about it? Do you
Yeah.
know the American military? If you portray the American military in good light, the American military saves you millions of bucks by providing you with aircraft for stunts, explosions, artillery, whatever equipment you want. They look after the entire stunts and technology budget. And they've refused to do it for movies that do not portray them in good light.
Mm.
Now, America, according to everybody, is the absolute paragon of freedom and democracy and virtue and things like that. If they're doing it, why the heck can't we?
I don't know. I don't know. It's frustrating. It bothers me. It bothers
Now,
me.
now, so and then on the other extreme, you have people like Dhruv Rathi comparing it to Leni Riefenstahl. By
Yeah.
Leni Riefenstahl, uh, first he should look closer to home and sniff his own ass, because it was that Ansari fellow, Gargi Rawat's husband, who wrote something about Sonia Gandhi, a book about Sonia Gandhi, that had the exact same name as the book that was written about Hitler, Triumph of the Will or something like that. Do you know that?
Mm.
Yeah, wait, let me show you this. Triumph of the Will. Okay, here, let me share this. Share screen. ये देख रहे हो? Is a Nazi propaganda film co-written by Leni Riefenstahl and blah blah blah. Now, let me find this book. ये देखो, Triumph of the Will, Yusuf Ansari. Triumph of the Will, Sonia Gandhi, Yusuf Ansari. Isn't it amazing?
पागल लोग हैं.
No, this has literally been boss. How much worse can you get? You literally copy a Leni Riefenstahl this thing. पर ये मुंह खोलने के लिए ध्रुव राठी को गट्स नहीं होगा. By the way, do you know Dhruv Rathi has very seriously broken German criminal laws? They take calling somebody a Nazi very, very seriously. You remember Christine Fair got arrested at the airport, at Frankfurt airport, for calling a cop a Nazi because he wanted to take away her shampoo or whatever. Yeah. And it is a crime in Germany to call somebody a Nazi. He's just committed something criminal under German law. Let me show you this again. Airport Nazi. Here, 2018. Share screen. Okay, can you see this? German professor accused of calling a German officer a Nazi. She has an arrest warrant or something out against her.
Okay, this is weird.
Yeah, you can't call people Nazis there.
She must have used her connections to get out of this one.
Yeah. And apparently she said she said the fellow in the line behind her had a Hitler Youth haircut. And she was charged $260 as legal costs.
क्या है ये? This is so weird.
So he's actually broken German law. Forget Indian law. He hasn't broken Indian law, but he's broken German law. This much I can tell you.
I think he's a वो तो जर्मनी में ही रहता है ना वो तो. Okay, now that we have established,
there was a US Marine who was actually sent to jail for calling somebody a Nazi.
In Germany?
In Germany. You can't call people Nazis in Germany. Yeah.
Okay. So they're very sensitive about this stuff.
Oh, yeah. You can't just go around calling people Nazi anything. You can't even say, I showed you, saying he had a Nazi style haircut itself is enough to get you a fine. But in serious cases, it goes up to 2-3 years in jail, I think, for calling somebody a Nazi.
One more question, because you brought up, the Americans also. Now, in America, cinema is left wing, no doubt about it. They have a giant left wing tilt. But despite that, right, films like Argo, American Sniper, Top Gun, and many other movies over a period of time, like Clint Eastwood has an entire genre of, movies where he also, is a cop or a military man beyond his cowboy role. But they somehow penetrated the market, and it's very obvious it was always a CIA penetrating through these movies time and again. I mean, the famous case of Rambo, like if there ever was a CIA propaganda movie, it was Sylvester Stallone, Rambo, that Afghanistan bit. Oh my god, that movie was like, अरे CIA ने लिख के दे दिया, तू ये बोल जाके, like वो पूरा. So they have managed to penetrate. How has the Indian intelligence apparatus not been able to maneuver it as well. Yes, border आई थी, JP Datta की film, I understand, but even in Indian military movies, right, that unabashed anti-Pakistan stand, वो कभी लिया ही नहीं जाता है. Like honestly, it feels like
First,
maybe
remember,
yes, there was a raw influence. It was the influence of the Dulat doctrine, which was Aman ki Asha.
see, the thing was you never knew what the government, ultimately bureaucratic decisions need to have complete backing from the government. When the government itself was wishy-washy, no, tomorrow we might want to do peace with Pakistan. Modi has been very clear now for 10 years, not 10 years, about 7, 8 years now, that he does not want peace with Pakistan. Now, once you have clear political direction, it is finally filtered down to all the movies and things, to art, to raw, to everyone, that don't hedge. This is why the same person, Omar Abdullah, who used to say talk to Pakistan before, now no longer asks for talks with Pakistan. Because he never knew when he was going to get screwed. He will take a strong stance against Pakistan, and then the government will say, oh no, Aman ki Asha, let's do this. And what was Aman ki Asha? It was all completely manipulated by the ISI, lulchifying Delhi high society to do track twos and things like that. And everybody made a lot of money. Everybody made a lot of money. Remember, there were think tanks whose whole basis was run basis this track two bullshit. Intelligence, zero.